For the past 8 centuries, Norrisville has relied on the guardianship of a ninja to ward off malevolent forces. In a cyclic tradition, every 4 years, a fresh hero is selected to become the city's new ninja, combating the prevailing evil. Enter Randy Cunningham, an ordinary high school student, unexpectedly designated as the latest defender of his town. Alongside his closest companion, Howard, Randy embarks on a journey to confront adversaries and safeguard his community, all while striving to balance his school responsibilities. Let's begin. So, 8 years before the show starts, Randy and Howard first met as kids at Marcy's daycare center. Randy tried to impress Howard with stories of the ninja, but Howard remained skeptical. They snuck out of the daycare and ended up causing a mess at Norrisville High School, prompting Marcy to turn into a monster due to the sorcerer's stank. The 2005 ninja appeared, and Randy and Howard witnessed him fighting Marcy. Randy helped the ninja by retrieving a sword, and they managed to de-stank Marcy. But who knew this event would result in Randy becoming a ninja some years in the future? At Norrisville High, students are assigned to write a summer break essay by Mr. Bannister. Howard asks Randy to copy his paper, claiming they had identical summers. However, their summers diverged when Randy received the Ninjanomicon, an ancient book that teaches wisdom and skills. Later, Randy, as the ninja, fights the Krakenstein and is initially outmatched. However, when he discovers a sword hidden in his suit, he easily defeats the monster. He later reveals his identity to Howard, who's thrilled but disappointed they can't share the secret. The next day at school, the marching band faces humiliation during a performance, especially Bucky Hensletter, the triangle player, who's punished for playing wrongly. A villain named the Sorcerer transforms a crying Bucky into a stank monster which causes chaos. Randy consults the Ninjanomicon and learns to de-stank monsters by destroying what they cherish. The ninja battles Bucky, destroys his prized triangle dinger, and reverts him to human form. Randy and Howard, tired of being unnoticed, decide to become judges for the school's talent show. They adopt a good judge, bad judge routine, but Howard's harsh critiques lead contestants to turn into monsters due to emotional distress. As the ninja, Randy realizes their vulnerability attracts the sorcerer's stank and saves the day. The sorcerer sends his minions, a wealthy businessman McFist and a mad scientist Viceroy, to destroy the ninja in a school exhibition. Randy learns that McFist has made a deal with the sorcerer but decides to keep it to himself and Howard since it will affect everyone emotionally. One day, Howard tells everyone on his sister's show that he knows who the ninja is. Later, he is kidnapped by McFist, who demands to learn the truth. Let's just say Randy has to use some questionable methods to stop Howard from spilling the beans. One day, Mrs. Driscoll's animated husband Skeleton kidnaps Howard, warning of an impending doomsday. The ninja battles Jerry Driscoll, who seeks revenge for his past arrest and activates a doomsday device. With Viceroy's help, they discover Jerry's base, leading to a showdown where the device is deactivated by Mrs. Driscoll. Despite saving the day, they unwittingly trigger the revival of other specimens. Randy and Howard prepare for a Battle of the Bands competition, but Randy's ninja duties cause him to break his promise to Howard. Meanwhile, McFist plans to expose the ninja's identity using a truth tone gadget during the competition. Randy and Howard's friendship is tested as they navigate the situation, and with quick thinking, they thwart McFist's plan by convincing the audience that they are all ninjas. Later, Randy practices the ninja air fist inside the Ninjanomicon, but fails due to not respecting its teachings. A routine monster drill is conducted at school, with Howard chosen as the stand-in ninja, much to Randy's dismay. Meanwhile, McFist struggles to control the Slaying Mantis robot for his own plans. When the Slaying Mantis robot appears, Ninja realizes the importance of respect and gains Ninjanomicon's guidance. Randy transforms into the ninja, defeats the robot with an air fist, and reconciles with Howard. Meanwhile, McFist plans to use a mind-controlling device on instruments during a school concert to expose the ninja's identity. Randy realizes his smoke bombs are running low and embarks on a quest for the sacred sap of the skunk pine to craft new ones. However, his attempts are foiled by McFist's hovercraft and a Christmas party, where he clashes with robots. In the end, Randy thanks Howard for saving a sap bag, attempting to grow a new sapling. During Miss Ringwald's poetry class, Randy tries to manipulate the clock to end class early, causing a power outage and a freezer malfunction, releasing a frozen stanked monster. Randy becomes the ninja to deal with the stanked student named Dickie, who was frozen in time since 1985. Randy consults the Nomicon and learns that the ninja from 1985 left the stanked student unresolved for the future ninja. In the end, Randy helps Dickie reunite with his long-lost prom date, Miss Ringwald, causing him to age rapidly and undo the stank. The sorcerer makes another attempt to defeat the ninja by turning Buttermaker, the Wave Slayer's team captain, into a monster after he gets injured during practice. Randy becomes the ninja to stop him and uses the sunscreen on Buttermaker's nose to de-stank him. Later, Randy tries to slice a bulldozer to test the sword's strength but fails, shattering the sword in the process. He consults the Ninja Nomicon and learns about a swordsmith who crafts blades in a cauldron of fire. Randy discovers that Mr. Smith, the metal shop teacher at school, is the swordsmith mentioned. Mr. Smith is blind but knows Randy is the ninja due to his scent. Randy seeks Mr. Smith's help to craft a new sword, but instead, he's given a balloon sword as a lesson in responsibility. After realizing the balloon sword was a metaphor, Randy gains a real sword from Mr. Smith and defeats the monster. An exchange kid named Franz Newkid joins the school and starts befriending everyone including Howard, which upsets Randy. Turns out, Franz is a robot created by Viceroy that can mimic friendly interactions to record voices and identify the ninja. During their fight with Randy, Franz is exposed as a robot and melts in chili. Randy and Howard reconcile, and the episode ends with them being buddies once again. Randy and Howard compete at Greg's Gamehole Arcade to beat each other's high scores. They discover a new game that is actually a trap set by Viceroy and McFist to release a giant robot called Jackhammer. Randy inadvertently releases Jackhammer into the real world, thinking it's still part of the game. As Jackhammer wreaks havoc, Randy tries to warn Howard, who is controlling the robot, but Howard believes it's just another trick. Randy consults the Ninja Nomicon, which advises him to let the enemy win, prompting him to taunt Howard into hitting him. This eventually leads to Howard stopping Jackhammer by making it jump off a cliff, and Randy saves the day once again. As Spirit Week approaches at Norrisville High, Randy accidentally breaks the seal containing the Tengu, a demon bird, releasing its possession over his best friend Howard. With avian powers, Howard wreaks havoc, and Randy learns that the Tengu feels his pain due to connected weaknesses. Sacrificing his ninja role, Randy destroys his ninja mask to free Howard from the possession, but ultimately regains it and defeats the Tengu, ensuring the safety of Norrisville. Randy and Howard create a hilarious video that wins them internet fame on ShoobTube, much to the envy of their peers. When a new student named Jacques uploads a boring video and is ridiculed by others, Randy and Howard decide to help him create a funny video to redeem himself. However, things take a turn when Jacques outshines them with his own video and gains internet celebrity status. Randy, feeling competitive and regretful, goes ninja to compete against Jacques and accidentally hurts his feelings. The sorcerer stanks Jacques, leading to a rooftop battle between the ninja and the stanked Jacques. In an attempt to de-stank Jacques, Randy destroys his camera, prompting them to collaborate on another video. Despite their efforts, they lose the ShoobTube contest to a possum video. In the end, Randy and Howard appreciate the humor of the possum video, and Jacques concludes that the internet is bewildering. The school is participating in a chess competition, which Randy and Howard find boring. Meanwhile, Viceroy creates a chess-playing robot that defeats Norrisville's chess team, which the sorcerer exploits to stank them into monsters. Randy goes ninja and confronts the stanked students. He realizes that the robot chess players needs to be defeated, and Howard challenges it to a game of crazy chess. Howard's unconventional playstyle confuses the robot and ultimately defeats it, de-stanking the victims. Randy saves Howard from the robot's attack, and they share the trophy that played a role in the stanking, highlighting their teamwork and friendship. Randy's frustration with the Nomicon's cryptic teachings leads him to seek answers from a McFist pad. He discovers Brock Octane's Tiger Paw technique, mistaking it for the Nomicon's lesson. Meanwhile, Bash unknowingly takes the Nomicon, leading Randy on a chase to retrieve it. The sorcerer recognizes its power, capturing Randy and attempting to use the Nomicon to stank him. Randy recalls past lessons and uses ninja skills to escape. In the end, Randy returns to the Nomicon and learns to climb a waterfall as a lesson. Howard signs up both himself and Randy for Mac Antfee's fantasy ninja camp Splosion, despite Randy's initial reluctance due to feeling off his ninja game. Upon discovering that Mac Antfee was a former ninja, Randy decides to join the camp to learn from him. However, he soon realizes that Mac's teaching methods are questionable and that his true intentions are malevolent. Randy, guided by the Nomicon, learns that Mac was expelled from being a ninja for his selfish and violent behavior. Randy confronts Mac, exposes his plans, and saves Howard. In the end, Howard acknowledges Randy's qualities as a good ninja, and Mac Antfee escapes, vowing revenge in the future. A scorpion-like robot named Psychobot appears and Randy transforms into the ninja to fight it. However, the robot adapts and counters his every move due to its learning chip. Randy realizes it's nearly unstoppable and accidentally defeats it by crashing off the roof. Randy seeks help from the Ninja Nomicon and enters the Ultimate Lesson Door, leading to a memory wipe that erases his identity. Meanwhile, Psychobot repairs itself and learns emotions. Randy forgets everything, and Howard desperately tries to help him remember as Psychobot causes chaos in the school. Howard eventually wears the ninja suit to fight the robot and save the day. Howard wears the ninja mask and fights Psychobot, using different tactics from Randy and humiliating the robot until it runs away crying. The sorcerer senses the robot's artificial emotions and stanks it out of frustration. Meanwhile, Howard leaves the Ninja Nomicon behind, and when Randy opens it, he gets sucked in and the Nomicon helps him remember who he is. Randy exits the book and finds a stanked robot chasing a distressed Howard. After retrieving the mask, Randy fights the robot near Norrisville Dam, realizing he must destroy its learning and memory chip to defeat it. In the end, Randy regains his memory and saves the day. Mac Antfee recognizes Randy as the ninja after he talks about the Ninja Nomicon, causing him to become obsessed. Randy hides in his locker, and with Howard's help, tricks Mac Antfee into the Ninja Nomicon to mind wipe him. Instead, they fight, and Mac Antfee reveals new moves and the power of the Nomicon. Randy tricks Mac Antfee into the exit door, escapes the Ultimate Lesson Door, and in the real world, Howard is chased by Mac Antfee's assistant ninja. After exiting the Nomicon, Mac Antfee has no memory of being inside, and the episode ends with Randy acknowledging that Mac Antfee is not a shoob. Randy and Howard become intrigued by a girl named Amanda Levay, who arrives at the school and promises to go on a date with the student who finds the most beautiful thing. Unbeknownst to them, Amanda is actually the sorceress, an old foe of the ninja. However, Amanda's true form is revealed, and she tries to seduce the boys and unleash chaos. Randy battles her, learning to rely on his sense of smell rather than sight. He defeats her temporarily, but she escapes with the promise of revenge. Later, Randy, Howard, and their friends enter a club but soon realize that everyone is invited by the mysterious masked hostess who turns out to be Amanda Levay, the sorceress. She transforms some students into demon dogs, causing chaos in the club. She manages to lure them into her lair, where Randy sacrifices himself to save the others, throwing both himself and the sorceress into a portal to the Land of Shadow, but Howard rescues him just in time. The students cheer for them, and Ninja finally shares the spotlight with Howard, solidifying their friendship. During the 50th anniversary of McFist Industries, Randy interrupts the celebration and inadvertently reveals McFist's villainous intentions on a live microphone, turning the crowd against him. McFist, fueled by the sorcerer's stank, transforms into a monster and attacks Randy. In a fierce battle, Randy realizes the old McSquiddle candy can destank McFist. He uses the ninja puke and poke on Howard to make him upchuck the candy into McFist's mouth, triggering childhood memories that break the stank's hold. Randy then lies to the crowd, claiming McFist was under the stank's control. The crowd believes him, and McFist's reputation is restored. Randy and Howard accidentally activate the Game Changer, a time machine, and find themselves 800 years in the past. They encounter stanked rats controlled by the sorcerer and accidentally alter history, releasing chaos in the present. Randy teams up with the first ninja from the past to confront the sorcerer, but the first ninja loses hope, so Randy and Howard create a plan to defeat the sorcerer and restore the timeline. They succeed with the help of Tengu Howard, and the sorcerer is imprisoned, at least for now. Randy and Howard visit McFist Industries' new water slide, the McFlume, where they encounter Bash and a challenge to ride the slide. The ninja accidentally damages the slide, leading to its closure. Meanwhile, the Shark Derminator, a creature created by Viceroy, emerges from Lake LaRusso and starts wreaking havoc. Randy tries to confront it as the ninja, but the Shark Derminator seems uninterested in fighting. Randy realizes a lesson from the Ninjanomicon about taking the easy path, leading him to plug the hole in the slide to guide the creature back to the lake. In the end, Randy, McFist, and Viceroy all enjoy a ride down the slide together, and the episode concludes with a snapshot of their moment. Randy and Howard indulge in soupsicles, leading Debbie Kang to investigate their potential dangers. Randy, as the ninja, initially convinces Debbie to drop her investigation, but later realizes soupsicles might be unsafe when Howard becomes a monster due to excessive consumption. Randy, as the ninja, teams up with Debbie to confront the situation at McFist Industries, where Howard goes on a rampage. With Viceroy's guidance, the ninja learns that purging all the soupsicles from Howard's system will restore his normal form. After a humorous bathroom-themed solution, Howard is back to normal, and the ninja saves Debbie from a perilous situation before vanishing. In the end, Debbie starts suspecting Howard's connection to the ninja based on her investigation. Randy and Howard argue at the Magic Funporium over bringing the Powerball to Julian's birthday party. Chaos ensues as Julian uses the Powerball's magic, causing monsters to appear. Randy fights them and saves the kids, but Julian captures him using shadow creatures. Howard trades the Powerball for Randy's release, and Julian splits into two. Shadow Julian is pulled into the land of shadows, and real Julian is saved. Randy and Howard return home, and Howard reveals he swapped the Powerball with a statue head. As the ninja fights a honey badger bot, Bucky insists on singing a cringe-worthy improvised song that he pretends to enjoy to avoid confronting Bucky's feelings. Howard calls out Randy for being a pushover, leading him to consult the Ninjanomicon. Misinterpreting its lesson, Randy believes he should avoid battles, leading to disastrous results in fights against Slugbot and a trap set by McFist using Bucky's performance at the amphitheater. Realizing he must confront the truth, Randy admits his mistake to Bucky, who sings the cringe song and inadvertently helps Randy defeat Ampbots. In the midst of battling McFist and Viceroy's Tyrannobot, Ninja overhears the term Operation BBD. He becomes obsessed with its meaning and infiltrates Bash's clique to gather intel. Randy learns the operation is set for Friday. He mistakenly believes it involves Bash's minibike. Ninja accidentally destroys the minibike and Bash is devastated, allowing the sorcerer to stank him. Realizing his mistake, Ninja repairs the bike, destanks Bash, and thwarts the sorcerer's plan. The ninja battles a gargoyle atop Norrisville Van Dam, aiming to secure the Chaos Pearls. The gargoyle steals the sorcerer's Powerball, leading Ninja to destroy it, waking Randy from a nightmare. With Howard present, they discuss dreams and head to Gamehole. Inside, they play a game called Key Turn and Ball Jammer, but a moth monster invades. Ninja fights it, fearing the world will end if he doesn't stop the creature from grabbing the ball. He hesitates at a hatch resembling a mosaic carpfish, but the monster overpowers him, taking the ball. He wakes up inside a theater, realizing he's in another dream. The boys exit to find the town deserted, encountering a Gila monster that snatches the ball. They're then at the school bus, but Randy's paranoia grows. A Gila monster reappears, and Randy realizes he's stuck in a cycle of dreams. He finally faces a tentacled monster that demands he insert the ball into the sorcerer's prison. Randy resists, noticing inconsistencies and thwarting the monster, breaking the cycle. He finds himself at the high school, with Howard eating cereal. The ball tries to return to the prison, but Randy and Howard stop it, preventing disaster. They walk towards the sunrise, discussing their journey. Later, security footage reveals Randy sleepwalking with the ball, hinting at more dreams to come. As Ninja fights a robot dog, Heidi's new show features his battles, which are heavily critiqued by Howard. Not the best Howard moment, but it's okay, he is still a friend. The Shoob Zone and constant Shoob chants cloud Ninja's vision and hinder his performance, so he seeks help from Mr. Smith to counter the effect. There, he undergoes challenging blindfolded training so he can fight without using his vision. After training, the ninja is attacked by the robot dog again. but after understanding Smith's training, he manages to overcome the blindness and defeat the robot in front of the students. In the end, Howard's heartfelt speech ends Heidi's show with respect for the ninja. As Ninja defeats a robot, Howard challenges Randy's predictability, manipulating him into performing embarrassing acts. Randy's attempts to counter fail, leading to him being pranked and even doing Howard's homework. Meanwhile, evil Julian, unable to find the sorcerer's Powerball, goes after Randy, believing him to possess it. During their fight, Randy recalls the Ninjanomicon's wisdom and outsmarts evil Julian by luring him into a trap set by Howard. Randy defeats evil Julian, but evil Julian knows who possesses the Powerball and is plotting his next move. On a snowy day, Randy proudly shows off his winter gear to Howard, including an inverted ninja mask used as a hood. Debbie Kang secretly records Randy's action and later confronts him, claiming to have evidence of his ninja identity. Panicking, Randy opens the Ninjanomicon, accidentally sending Debbie into the book. Inside the book, Randy faces accusations from ninja ancestors while trying to convince Debbie not to expose his secret. Debbie escapes the book and claims the Ninjanomicon as evidence, revealing Randy as the ninja on her show. McFist sends a robot after Randy, who defeats it despite lacking his mask and the Ninjanomicon. Later, Randy cleverly proves his innocence to Debbie with Howard's help, and she is eventually mind-wiped by the Nomicon, leading to her forgetting the investigation. Amidst the battle with Robo-Apes, an accidental blaster shot triggers a crash into Scrap City, a junkyard for malfunctioning robots. Stranded alongside McFist, Randy encounters a seemingly friendly robot named QT Bot, who leads him to a coliseum where he faces off against McFist and the punk bot leader. Realizing their common enemy, Randy and McFist unite against the robot army, destroying a menacing bot and escaping with the aid of Howard, Mort, and a robot pterodactyl. During a school field trip to Little Norrisville, Randy and Howard decide to ditch the tour and indulge in some merchandise shopping. Unbeknownst to Howard, he ends up grabbing a mystical idol with the power to grant wishes. Tired of the mundane tour, Howard employs the idol to teleport them back to school, inadvertently causing chaos in the process. A mysterious pursuer appears, leading to a bus accident. Randy takes on his ninja persona to confront the figure, who turns out to be evil Julian. Meanwhile, Howard's wishes start materializing due to the idol's magical abilities. The school turns into a frenzy as the power of the idol triggers a series of battles and accidents. Eventually, a confrontation ensues, leading to the idol's destruction and the defeat of evil Julian. Randy realizes his mistake and apologizes for his actions. The remains of the idol are discarded, but the story doesn't end there. The idol's residual magic seeps into the sewage system, hinting at potential consequences that may arise in the future. After the Sorcerer Ball shatters and contaminates Norrisville's water supply, causing townspeople to unknowingly drink its essence, including Howard's sister Heidi, the entire town becomes consumed by an obsession with digging for the supposed ultimate prize. Amidst the chaos, Randy and Howard encounter Greg at the game hole, and Randy seeks guidance from the Nomicon's first ninja, who reveals that combining the Sorcerer Balls will summon a formidable adversary. He instructs Randy to safeguard the balls from falling into the wrong hands. As the town's digging frenzy escalates, Randy protects his Sorcerer Ball from a bewitched Teresa, while Howard discovers the second ball's location at an old quarry. A showdown unfolds at the quarry where evil Julian controls the infected townspeople, and Randy's choice to save Howard leads to the fusion of the Sorcerer Balls and the town's release from Julian's influence, though dark skies hint at forthcoming challenges. Randy Cunningham is on a mission to stop evil Julian's plans. He receives a call from Howard Weinerman, who tricks him into coming to his house and reveals that Randy's family is moving away the next day. Randy rushes to confront evil Julian at Mount Chuck, but during the battle, he realizes he needs an unlikely ally. Consulting the Ninjanomicon, he interprets this ally to be Howard, so he calls him to the mountain. However, Howard's help proves ineffective, and they both accidentally end up in the Land of Shadows. They encounter a crazed Julian and seek his help to return home. Randy manages to escape and seeks the aid of the sorcerer, who helps defeat evil Julian. In the end, with the sorcerer's intervention, they restore normalcy and the sorcerer vanishes. The next day, Randy's family is moving, but it's revealed they're just moving next door. As the show concludes, the creep, who originally gave Randy the Nomicon, hints at the ninja's future challenges. So that was Randy Cunningham, 9th grade ninja for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, then leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Thanks for watching, we'll see you at the next one.